what I wanted just to basically say today is really to encourage you to attend the meredith of events that are available this week, obviously beginning today. We try and do a number of activities over the course of the year, whether it's Cinco de Mayo celebration or African American Week. There's a variety of events that occur during the year at the university. I think we, as an institution, obviously engaged in learning and providing learning opportunities to not only our students, but the faculty and the staff and the community, quite frankly. We encourage all of you to participate in events like you'll have this week. You'll have art presentations, you have lectures, you have opportunities to exchange ideas about social, political, and economic issues. And I think that's what we're all about, trying to learn and experience viewpoints of education and economics from different perspectives. So again, welcome to this opening event, and hope to see you at many more. Thank you.
Thank you, President, for those comments. Before I actually introduce Dr. Mayo, I definitely want to thank the art department for allowing us the space here. Lisa Knapp for her hospitality. Mina has been very helpful the last few days, helping us gather things up for the show. Tino Aranda, who's an art student here, also helped throughout the whole weekend put this up. So we owe a lot of gratitude to the art department. I'd like to give them a round of applause for it. Appreciate Dr. Revelo's presence here. Also, our dean of our school, Dean Jim Perez, is also here. Thank you very much for attending, Dean Perez. Also, the Vice President of Student Affairs, Stacy Morgan, is here in attendance. So thank her. And I don't recognize many faces here, but I definitely appreciate your attendance here. And as you can see, there's a wonderful display of art here in the lobby by Dr. Dylan Miner, who's coming from Michigan State University to visit us. He has a PhD in Latin American Studies and Art History from the University of New Mexico. He's currently an assistant professor of art history with the residential college at Michigan State University. And as you can see, his hobby is also art. Does this whenever he can, besides teaching about art. Dylan has a very unique position in regards to not only what he is portraying as art, but also when you get the opportunity to read this, take a close look at the materials that he's using. You see a lot of these are paper bags that he has created his art on. And then of course, this is just cardboard that we found discarded on the side of the road. That we didn't buy this card, we actually bought it. But it's just cardboard, right? It's cardboard. We wouldn't ever think of putting a mural that he created in the past 16 hours for us. So Dr. Miner will definitely give us some insight into his work. So please welcome Dr. Dylan Miner.
I did the same thing. We come down through here, so we didn't cross the border. The border crossed us. So you know, I'll do the same kind of thing you do at the beginning. Give all the thanks. So of course, thanks to Professor Garcia and Chicano Education here for the art department for letting us and allowing us to use this space. Tino Aranda, who helped take the show. A long day yesterday, the university in general, as well as all the native peoples. I'm a Michif or a Métis person, and one of the things you do when you go to someone else's land is you thank them for allowing you to be in that territory. So in the state of Washington, of course, the Coast Salish peoples and all the inland native peoples. And so think about them as you kind of are at this institution and think of who are the original inhabitants of this land, which we are graciously or at times not so graciously using. Another protocol kind of in my tradition is to present myself in my familial language, which of course I didn't grow up speaking, but which is Michif. So I'll do that. Danishikiawa, Nimiyoyan, Ishimikashundila, Kichigumi Niki Mitawikin, Tiatoshka, Universidade de Estado de Kichigumi. Nimishun Tekwash Michif, Tekwash what the Pegasiwa, Penetangashin. So what I said basically is I'm a Métis person. My family comes, and the Métis, if you don't know, are tribal peoples kind of in the Great Lakes and in the western states, also in the prairie provinces of Canada, who the word Métis, which is what we're commonly known as, it has an equivalent in Spanish, which is mestizo. We're people of mixed ancestry who, because of the capitalist and mercantilist impetus of the fur trade, kind of created our own language and our own culture kind of apart. And our language, unlike any other Aboriginal, any other global languages, draws both equally from French and from Cree, drawing its verb structure from the Cree language and its noun structure from French. Kind of thinking about the distinction, right, between European languages and Aboriginal languages, right? Aboriginal languages focusing on processes and actions and verbs, doing things, and European languages oftentimes focusing on things. I think there's a very, very important kind of epistemological distinction between those two. So with that, one of the things I'd like to do today is talk a little bit about my work and what I do. I myself grew up in Michigan. I grew up in a small rural community, kind of interacting and growing up within the Mayo Mexicano, within kind of rural Chicano workers. As you know, kind of in Washington State and in Michigan, Michigan's an agricultural community. Professor Garcia probably knows some of the crops that the state produces, or is the chief producer of, I don't know, asparagus, blueberries, what else? Apples, cherries, but not what is it? I don't know, not sweet cherries, but tart cherries. So all of these other things, right? And so until the 1960s, Grand Traverse County, which, if you know anything about Michigan, it looks like this, surrounded by lakes, and Grand Traverse County is here. Until the 1960s, until the mechanization of agriculture, Grand Traverse County had more Mexicano and migrant workers than any other county in the States, right? Because they would come up for the cherry industry every summer. So there's a long history, right? And I grew up in this community. As a person of mixed descent myself, I saw a lot of similarities between Métis histories, Métis culture, and between Chicano culture. And as you look at my work, I think you can see a lot of that as well, right? There's a lot of kind of multilingual implications and multilingual text within the work, both English, Spanish. If you look at the image in the middle, which I did for 2 years ago, I believe, for an immigration rights conference in Mexico City, which brought together all of these different immigrant rights groups from throughout the world. And one of the things that I did with this poster is I had it, of course, in English and Spanish. But in Michigan, in Dearborn, has one of the largest Arab communities outside of the Middle East. And so I incorporated Arabic into it, as well as indigenous languages, Nahuatl, the most prominent native language spoken in Mesoamerica, as well as Anishinaabe-Mowen, the Ojibwe language. And so kind of the incorporation of all of these stories and bringing various disparate histories together, I think, is one of the things that, as you look at the work and when I'm done here, or if you continue kind of go to my website or follow my work, is that you'll see I'm bringing these stories which in many ways have parallels and have a lot of continuity and connection, but are often kind of taught as disparate and disconnected experiences. So visually, I think visually my work is very influenced by the radical political art making, particularly the poster tradition. And if anybody knows the arts of the Americas, arts of Latin America in particular, you know that there's a very vibrant and long tradition of graphic arts, particularly relief prints, with the Taller de Gráfica Popular, the People's Print Workshop in the 1930s, kind of to the contemporary era. But it was really, the TGP was a Mexico City-based collective that during the 30s and 40s, but you know, it's still in some iterations exist, was making art that was both politically engaged, but also easily accessible, right? We see similarities within other kind of art-making traditions, such as silkscreen or the serigraph tradition after 1959. In Cuba, think back to the Movimiento Chicano, we also have a very vibrant mural and screen printing tradition that's very much alive and well, particularly, specifically in the Bay Area. If people know artists like Malaquias Montoya, in LA,